Weird Mythic Fam. It's Weird Mythic Podcast. I'm Naomi, and I'm always with the wonderful Serena. Say hey from Texas.
Hey from Texas.
Hey from Texas.
Howdy.
Howdy. That seems awesome.
No one says that here, by the way.
Oh, not at all?
No.
Oh, come on. Just like lots of y'alls, right?
There's a lot of y'alls,
There's
yeah.
a lot of y'alls.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man. Well, hello, everybody. I hope everyone had a good week. We're recording a little late again, but, you know, we're just happy to record. So
Yes, life happened, but we're here, so.
Yes. And before we get started into the show and do all our promotions and stuff, I need to correct something from the last episode where we talked about haunted things, and I was talking about the painting. I was talking about how it was put on eBay, and then a man named Kim Smith bought it off of that's what I'm correcting. Kim Smith actually bought the painting. I said in the episode that he's the one who sold it on eBay. I take that back. He's the one who actually bought it from eBay. So the people who put it onto eBay, I didn't put down their names or anything, but Kim Smith's the one who eventually bought it, put it into his own museum, and is the one who still owns it to this day, and Zach Baggins couldn't buy it from him. So there is my correction.
Well, good that you did that, because whenever I find new facts or whatever, I just don't correct it. So yeah, there's that.
You know what? I think one of the reasons why I even caught it is because I edited the last episode.
Yeah, maybe.
So I was listening. I was like, no, I'm wrong. Why do I have that backwards? And then I'm going back through my notes, and I can totally tell. I was just like, oh, dude.
Yeah, everyone run to Twitter and tell Naomi what a good job she did editing.
Thank you. I'm going to try again. I didn't like it. I'm going to try much harder on this next one. But thank you for, pretty much pushing me to be like, girl, you need to edit some. So thank you.
I was just like, do you want to? Because, I don't mind editing. I like editing. Mm-hmm. It's just... Well, takes 2 hours out of my day.
Oh, easily takes 2 hours out of the day. So no, I need the practice. So I'm gonna help out and always edit when you need me to, or just because the hell, fuck, I want to. So
yay. Well, in August, we are going to be at the True Crime Podcast Festival in Dallas, Texas, and tickets are still available. You guys should go. There's going to be so many good podcasts there. I literally just looked at the lineup again on Wednesday, and it's grown so much. There's so many podcasts that are there. We're still one of 4 paranormal podcasts, but how much fun is that going to be?
Dude, I'm so excited, and I hope everybody else is just excited as we are. So
yeah, we're still homeless. I still don't have a place for us to stay, but we'll figure it out.
That's all right. I don't have my plane ticket yet. I have the money for it. I just haven't looked for flights, but I'm going to get that ticket real soon, and I'm going to call you because we need to coordinate you picking me up. So
yeah, we can talk about it tomorrow or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that needs to happen. The sooner the better, because they're only going to get more expensive.
Oh, yeah. So.
Hotels too. God damn it. All right. Well, today's going to be a fun episode.
Yes.
Because we have been on a haunted kick lately. And we're going to be talking about haunted places. Today.
Yes.
And I'm so excited.
So I'm super excited for your stories. But who wants to go first? I could go first and talk about the haunted town. Or do you want to get into your big, different roads and shit?
You say big, but I don't have a lot. But I'll go first this time.
Are you sure? Because I'm
yeah, sure.
Roads is what you said.
Yeah, so I'm going to be focusing on haunted roads, and I did a little spoiler thing on Twitter today. And it started because one of my coworkers, who I'm going to keep anonymous, gave me a personal story. And then it just escalated from there.
We haven't had a personal story in a minute.
In a while, yeah. And he has so much more, too. So I'm like, you need to send me everything you have, and this is going to be a podcast about your life now.
We'll do little, here's the ghost story of this month.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to make him send me everything. But
yes.
I'm going to talk about his last. So I have 2 other ones I'm going to quickly talk about. The first one is Route 666.
Right.
In New Mexico. And it is referred to
New Mexico. That's just
the New Mexico part of it. Yeah.
It's a strange state. I've never been there, but I know people who have gone through it. And I'm sorry, there's a lot of alien activity there. I got a whole thing about New Mexico. So we'll get over that some other time. Keep going.
When we drove through, it's fine. When we drove through New Mexico on our way to Texas, we stopped at like, there's like so many random little shacks on like the side of the road that are like gift shops and like tourist traps, right?
Right.
There was this one specifically that it was like the thing, and I think when I looked it up, it was like some kind of alien thing. We didn't pay to get in because we were in a rush and I had a cat in the car, but it was super interesting. There's a lot of alien type activity there for sure, and they like to capitalize on that and make as much money on the side of the road as they can, which is fine. Do your thing, man.
Do your thing.
But yeah, specifically, I'm going to be talking about the area that runs from Gallup, New Mexico, north through the Navajo Nation and Shiprock, and then up to the Colorado border.
Sweet. Okay.
So Route 666 was determined to be one of the most hazardous roads in the nation in 1997. It's kind of hard to drive, I would say. I've never driven it myself, but like from what I was reading, there's a lot of sharp turns in like a short span of time. And there's a lot of deaths on that road. Like, I want to say, like, some of the most fatalities happened on that road.
Oh, okay.
In 2003, the road's name was actually changed to Highway 491. And it was basically because of the fatality rate coupled with persistent sign theft. People were, like, jacking that Route 666 sign all the time.
I would.
And then, yeah, so stories circulated, right? Stories circulated throughout the years, mostly on the internet, as they do. Some claimed that they would see a black sedan charging at their vehicles and then disappearing. And others have claimed that they were chased by a vicious pack of wild dogs. But most commonly, people would experience car troubles on this road, including overheating and flat tires. So that's what I have on the road. When they say like vicious pack of wild dogs, don't you think of like hellhounds?
Yes, and you were saying a black sedan. I'm like, dogs and a sedan?
The devil drives a black sedan, just throwing that out there.
Well, I'm like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's really, really odd. But the wild dogs, that's creepy as hell. Because do they like see them, or is it just more of like
I think
audio?
It's mostly audio that they hear it and then it will like just disappear, which is not how that happens. If you're being chased by a pack of dogs, I feel like, I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to get at, but like, I just feel like it doesn't just happen like that. Like, you're gonna kind of hear them start to bark at you and then it'll fade in and out. I feel like it's just like abruptly there, but scary. But then there are a lot of like coyotes in that area because it's more of desert. So that makes sense too. If coyotes would chase you.
Coyotes wouldn't chase
I don't know then.
No.
Coyotes are like smaller too, right?
Yeah, they are, and I don't think they run in packs. They're kind of like scavenger animals.
I thought they were pack animals.
They could be. I mean, they are dogs, but I've never known a coyote to chase anyone. I don't know,
but I thought that was interesting to the point where they actually changed like the name of that stretch of highway because there were so much people like that lived in that area too. They didn't like it. They didn't like all the superstitions around it and the stories that were coming. Like they just did not like it. So I think it was good for everyone that they changed the name. But yeah, so that's the first one I have.
Okay.
All right. So the second one is not that one. Hold on.
That is not the second one.
The second one, I did something in Texas because you'll see why. Because the last story is in Texas too. But this one is creepy because there are like news articles factually showing that this accident actually happened, which is scary. So, one rainy morning, a school bus full of children stalled as it was crossing the train tracks. A train came speeding down the tracks and the bus was unable to move out of the way. The train crashed into the bus and unfortunately killed 10 children. So, I know, it's so sad. So the legend goes, and this is in San Antonio, Texas, by the way. The legend goes that the ghost of those children pushed stalled out cars out of the way to safety. So you would park about 50 feet before the tracks on Shane Road, put your car into neutral and turn off the engine. Without touching the gas, your car will travel uphill over the tracks, And if you cover the back bumper with baby powder before crossing over the tracks, you'll actually see handprints, like little child handprints on the back of the bumper.
Girl.
This is the one that I said we should go to. Isn't that crazy? It gave me such bad chills when I first read that story.
That's what I was about to say. And like all of a sudden I'm cold. Like that's gnarly.
So scary. All right. And then the last one, this again happened to my coworker. So he actually went to this place in 1987.
Oh, shit. Okay.
He went there. I think he said he was like 16 years old at the time. So, the urban legend goes that a husband got mad at his wife because she was basically going to leave his ass or cheating on him or something, right? I couldn't find the actual legend on the internet, so this is everything that he told me. It's really hard to find stuff that dates back even farther than that, you know what I mean? Because it was already a thing by the time it was 1987, so it was hard to find like news articles or whatever when you type in specific things. But out in the field, the husband beheaded his wife and drug her body down the road a little under a quarter mile by a tractor, leaving like this trail of blood, right? So you go down this road at night and you're telling the story to your passenger. And once you get to the shed at the end of the road, you turn around. And once you turn to drive back the other way, you see the blood trail on the road. Yeah. Ooh. He said like he got out and you could see the gravel part of like the road. There was like blood only on one side of the rock. So it actually looked like something had been dragged. And unfortunately, well, I don't know if it's unfortunate, but since then the road has been paved over. So not a thing anymore. Still super creepy though.
Huh. That is trippy. Oh, that's a weird residual haunting.
Because when you're driving down the road the first way, you don't see anything. Like, there's no blood or anything on the road. But then once you turn around and you see the trail of blood, that's so scary. Yeah.
That's trippy. Yeah.
Well, that's what I have. Very short and sweet, but super creepy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, those last two, I want to say the ones with the kids, that sounded familiar, but I didn't know it was in San Antonio, and I haven't heard the story in a long time, but that and seeing the blood, that freaked me out. But the kids,
that one's so sad.
I don't know. It's so sad, but then it's like, usually when you talk about hauntings or kids, it's always kind of creepy. I'm like, no, they're
actually helping you, help you. So that's the only one that I would go to see. San Antonio is only like 2 hours from here or something like that. Maybe it's farther, 3 hours, but close enough.
Close enough that we could go and try this out. All right. Well, shit. All right. Well, another haunted place that we are going to have to visit on our long list of places that we want to visit is I'm going to be talking about Port Townsend in Washington.
Gosh, okay, yay.
Okay, so just a little bit about the town is, well, of course, you know, in the late 1800s is when it had like a big boom of there was a lot of settlers coming in. They're working with the Native Americans. There wasn't good blood there. And then eventually it became like a big harbor town. And along with being a harbor town, you know, there's of course saloons. There was some brothels. There was also an upper class and a lower class, like, and it was pretty distinct to know who was in what class at this time. And at this time in the late 1800s in Port Townsend, that the downtown area was like, don't go down there at night, like at all. There was a lot of people reporting robberies. You know, even fights were happening all the time, and there was a lot of murders. But something that I think is really fucking like insane is this is where people would be attacked and taken to be shanghaied. So to be shanghaied is when you are drugged or knocked out and you are then put onto a boat or a ship and forced to work. You are now a slave and part of the ship's crew.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So that happened a lot, and I know that there's a lot of underground tunnels in a lot of parts of Washington, and of course there are some in Port Townsend. Another thing about the early history in late 1800s in this town was the very first mayor and very prominent man in the whole town, he shot himself. So that's a great start to alone people being shanghaied. You know, you're taking over the land from the Native Americans, and then fights, murders, robberies. all the
Yeah,
time.
like a domino
So that's the
effect. It
beginning.
just started off really bad and just got worse.
That's why I'm sure there's great things that happened in that time as well, but those are some things that happened early on that should definitely be mentioned. Today, there are officially 25 buildings in Port Townsend that are like documented to be haunted or have significant paranormal activity.
Nice.
Yeah, that's like documented. I saw it in a lot of places. I'm going to be talking about a few different places. Well, not places, but there's a castle and a saloon and a hotel and a army barracks that I will be talking about. So the first one I'll be talking about is Manresa Castle, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but it's Manresa. They were actually on Ghost Adventures. I don't have the season or the episode, but they did get an audio recording when they were there, and it's really fucking creepy. It's on film, but it's just, you only hear it. You don't see anything. It's a fucking kid laughing.
Why would you do that to me?
I have so much more.
Anytime, like I say this every time kids are mentioned. That is the scariest fucking thing to me. A kid ghost.
Yes. Well, unless it's those ones we just talked about.
Yeah, but those are like little sweet angels who were just want to help you.
Something I can say is that this kid didn't sound malicious or anything, and there's no reports of malicious kids.
Laughing is creepy enough. I don't care.
But they definitely got that on camera. It was really creepy. Something that is usually almost always reported here is, of course, footsteps, disembodied voices, and moans. People have been saying that, like, when when somebody kind of brushes a little too close against you, you get that feeling of someone next to you, kind of. That's the feeling that a lot of people get in the Manresa Castle. And that has actually been reported by guests and by people who work there. So I do have a story here, and it is for this, it was a housekeeper. She was about 20 years old, and she was closing up the lobby area, and she was cleaning out, she was also cleaning out all the rooms, right? So she was cleaning up in room 306, and I said he or she. Either way, this housekeeper, sorry, I don't know if it's man or woman, but when this housekeeper went back to go get the keys off the table that they put down in room 306, they weren't on the table. They were floating and levitating about 18 inches off of the table. So the keys fell back down as soon as the person, why are the keys floating? And they, of course, slammed back onto the table, and that person left with the quickness and didn't come back into room 306. Still worked there.
How?
But did not go back into that room.
Nope. I'm quitting. No notice.
There's also, there's a story that goes on with this castle, and it is said that from back in the day, I don't have an exact date, from back in the day, there was this woman, and she was waiting for her lover to come back from sea. This is a port town, so there was a lot of times people just waiting for their men to come back, people to come back, because they're always out at sea. So he never came back, unfortunately, and she ended up jumping off of the castle and killing herself. So there's that story. There's another spirit that also haunts this castle. Sadly, he hung himself, and he was a monk, and apparently he hung himself above room 302 or in room 302. There was conflicting stories I was seeing, but around the room 302.
Said you want to go here?
I want to go to this town. I didn't say I want to go to this castle. I said I want to go to this town. So the current, or I think it was 2016 in the article that I read with this, but the front desk manager, her name is Kimberly Smith. She says that she gets reports of people seeing apparitions 2 to 3 times a week. Very paranormal hotspot.
That's scary.
Yeah. So another place I want to talk about is called the Palace Hotel. And it was originally a brothel called the Palace of Sweets, which was its little nickname. I just think that's hella cute. And it was built in 1889. There are 16 rooms here that anyone can stay at, and each of the rooms is actually named after an apparent woman who used to work in the brothel.
Want to stay in the Karen, please?
In the Karen? No. But I do have some rooms that you might want to stay clear of. There's been a apparition of a woman in this hotel that has been seen by all kinds of people, and she is in a blue dress, so she's known as the woman in the blue dress. There's also been reports of like little pranks being pulled on people, you know, in the rooms, like somebody just moving their keys to another location or putting this in a different location, and then you have to find it. Like, things are always being moved in the hotel. And one of the stories, I'll let you know, this one is pretty. This one I don't like because I wouldn't have got back up on the ladder. Anyways, so there's this handyman, and he's fixing this light bulb in one of the hallways, and he's up on top. It's above him, directly on the ceiling, and he's on the ladder, and all of a sudden he says that the ladder was kicked out from underneath him, and he got right back up on the ladder. I'm like, I don't know if I would have got back up on that ladder. So guess what happened when he got back up on the ladder? It happened again. I don't think he got back up on the ladder after that.
Why not? Third time's a charm.
So, the housekeepers at this hotel do report of seeing apparitions themselves 1 to 2 times a week. There is also a ghost book here that you can actually put as guests if you're a guest and you have your own experience. There's a whole book that you can write down your experience in. I know, right? Like, this
I just want to go there and read that book.
So here's a couple other stories about 2 of the rooms and 3 people or 3 women, that apparitions that have been seen here. So the first one I'm going to talk about is actually the woman in blue. They believe the woman in blue is actually Madame Claire, who was the madam of the brothel at one point. And her room used to be room number 4. So there's plenty of reports in room number 4 alone of people seeing a shadow, you know, in the room. Nothing really malicious, but a shadow, like, kind of on the wall where it shouldn't be, is mainly the stories I was seeing. And there's also reports of not just them seeing her, but they'll smell something sweet, like perfume, and then they'll see her, or then they'll see the shadow, and then it's gone. She's not malicious or anything. It's just she's there, and a lot of people report, like, objects moving in room 4, and you definitely smell something sweet when you walk into the room. So there's also a portrait of her, Madame Claire, at the hotel also, so you do have the actual portrait of her there. Another room is room number 7, and I believe, if somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is Miss Alice's room, and she is on the 2nd floor, and it is one of the bigger rooms. I found a really not on TripAdvisor, it might have been like on the website of the Palace Hotel itself, but this one woman wrote about her experience that she was staying in room number 7, and she was kind of disappointed that she didn't see any apparitions while she was at the palace and didn't get any paranormal experiences. But as she was leaving the room, pretty much having that thought, she just looked behind her to grab her bags, and there was handprints on the window. But it wasn't from the inside. They were straight up handprints on the outside.
And she's on the 2nd floor.
She is on the 2nd floor, yeah. The other room that I saw also was room number 5. And apparently there is a woman in a red dress that likes to be in there, and they believe it is a Miss Guinevere. Ooh. I know. I'm like, Guinevere. So we got Madame Claire, Miss Ellis, and Miss Guinevere. But that place, it just looks cool. I saw a whole lot of pictures. I just kind of want to go check this place out.
During the day.
During the day. Another place I kept seeing that was haunted, but I don't really have stories about it, was the Rothschild house, which is now considered like a historical place as of 1970. And it's Washington's most haunted museum, is what it says. And it is housed to an unhappy spirit or spirits. They only really have reports of constant doors just slamming shut, cold spots, and there is one shadow figure that is been seen like a lot of times at the Rothschild house. I will talk a little bit about a military post, and it's called Fort Worden, and it was opened in 1902 and active up to 1953. And there is a military cemetery there. Military cemetery. I did not mean to, like, that just rhymed too much. And in 1957, this was turned into like a juvenile center or reform school. I'm not sure the difference back in the 50s. So I'm not sure if this was a good place or just kind of a place where they threw kids and let them fend for themselves.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's a good place.
No, and it was officially now a state park as of 1973. So you can go there and walk around the cemetery and whatnot. A lot of people really just kind of hear a lot of the moaning in the barracks, or it's the things that I kept seeing is when you're going down a hallway, and in the barracks specifically, you get just that really irky, inky feeling that just something's watching you. There's also no lights in these hallways. So if you start to hear like moaning and stuff, people straight up put warnings saying, don't go down the hallway at night. If you start to hear this noise, don't go down the hallway. I couldn't find what these specific noises were, but just reading the little bits of articles about people who have gone to the military barracks to go ghost hunting, they don't like going down those hallways. Oh my gosh,
I wonder what, like, happens if you do go down the hallway.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to know.
What if there's sign? Like, if it's posted, you know it has to be, like, bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no bueno. There's also this place called the Waterfront, and I think it's like a little saloon or restaurant or something. I don't think it's a hotel. I could be wrong on that. If somebody can, correct me, please do. But I just have the name The Waterfront written down, and it was built in 1899. There has been reports of a ghost with its head split in the center being seen there. Don't know what that's from. There's also this place called the Townsend Tavern, and they say that the former housekeeper still roams around, that there has also been there's a woman that is constantly seen there. They think that she might have been a nurse or a midwife back in the 1800s. There's no real reasons why they think that, but I read that in at least 2 sources. There is a boy who has been seen there, and they call him Adam. So there's a boy Adam who roams around as well. There, I guess in the tavern, there used to be a homeless man who kind of slept in the basement every now and then of the tavern. And people say that he's still in there sometimes, like the ghost of him.
Oh, that's so sad.
I'm like, okay, well, maybe that was a comfort for him, Going back to the Manresa Castle, the first one I talked about, right? Is that the first one? Yes, the first one I talked about. I saw some things on TripAdvisor. So I wanted to talk about one specific one. I didn't put the person's name in, but the date of when she put in this review was August 8th, 2017. The headline is, "Yes, it's haunted." And she reported hearing many footsteps and moaning sounds when no one was around. She also reported to smell some nasty odors, which this is a town that's right next to the ocean, so I don't know if that's a fishy smell or just a smell. She brought a pendulum with her because she kind of wanted to see if she could get any paranormal activity for herself, and she did. She said the pendulum was just swinging wildly at every question that she asked, every single one. I think there was a friend there too, so they both asked questions. Yeah, she did have a friend there, because my next one, it's saying the other girl said that she felt like fingertips go down her back at one point when they were in the room. So with the pendulum going, and you just feel that's a specific feeling, like you're gonna know that it's a person.
I'm so not comfortable with that.
Yeah, so that review was pretty fun to read. It's not too long if people go and read it. It's August 8th, 2017. It's a cool little review. So I kept reading reviews from the Manresa Castle. People were always reporting that there's odd odors. There's always an odd odor that somebody mentions. None of the hotel's phones work, and the stairs are extremely creaky. So I don't know it's just an old place and it has creaky floors, or if they're actually like hearing ghosts, I guess. One other hotel I'm gonna mention, if I haven't already, no, I have not. The Bishop Hotel, and it was built in 1891. There are reports that in rooms 15, 17, and 19 that there are some sort of unnerving spirits in there. So it's just a lot of people feeling that strange feeling and things moving a lot in their room and legit getting out of one of those rooms. So
yikes.
Yeah. I did find something really cool about Port Townsend, Washington, is they definitely embrace these ghosts. Because there's also reports of just ghosts roaming around the downtown area. Like, people will be like, yeah, that was definitely a ghost just walking down the street. Yikes. So in this year, guys, there is like this event going on in the downtown area, and it's October 28th and 29th of this year. There's guided tours and paranormal investigations. You'll be investigating 3 different historic buildings. There's also an escape room. There's flashlight tours of the Rothschild house. And they also have like, I don't know what a DIY paranormal class is, but they have those as well.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's really cool. So they did this back in 2019. I'm guessing in 2020 and 2021, because of the pandemic, they didn't do it those years. But they actually have some recordings on their website from 2019. So I listened to all 13 recordings, guys. I'm only going to talk about 5 because those were the ones that creeped me out. So there is one of them, and it is titled Child's Voice. And it's legit, all you hear is, hurry. And then it's done. And I'm like, you hear the investigators, you hear a little static from just the recording itself, but it is really creepy the way it sounds. And there's another recording, and it's titled Investigator Speaking, then a Woman's Voice. And they're saying in here that the woman's voice is saying, I see you. I didn't hear that, but what I did hear was something almost on repeat. Like, it said it 2 times in 2 different spots on this recording. And it does sound like a woman's voice, but it doesn't sound like English to me. So I don't know if I'm just hearing something completely different from what other people are hearing, or if they really did hear I see you. I don't know, but I listened to that over and over again, and I'm like, it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like a person, but it's definitely repeated, and it definitely sounds like it would be a woman's voice. It's just very strange. Yeah. Then there's actually no, so I only have 4 I'm talking about, sorry. Anyways, there's another one called Investigator Speaking, then a Child's Voice. This is very specific. That kid says, Mommy. Aww. You fucking hear that right out loud.
So sad.
And then, yeah, and I don't, it's really, it's nuts. That one was odd. And then there's another one, and it's called Calling Eulalie. I don't know who Eulalie is. I did some Google search and couldn't figure it out. The only thing I found was that it's the name of a boat somewhere, but I don't think that's what would be saying. Anyways, I listened to it quite a few times, and I don't hear the name Eulalie, but there's like some talking in the background, but it just doesn't sound right. It's almost kind of sing-songy, like they're like a poem almost, but I can't make out any words. So yeah, that it's if you go to the website ptmainstreet.org, you'll be able to find the recordings there.
So creepy.
So that is Port Townsend, Washington. I want to go visit that town.
I'd like to go in October, like, for that thing.
Yeah, I know.
Wish it wasn't like almost October. I feel like it's almost October.
Almost. We're halfway to Halloween, pretty much.
Then I'm just thinking, like, we have August, and then that's only 2 months after that. I'm like, yeah, can't do. Maybe next year.
No, we're going to Dallas. Yeah, well, we'll have to plan something next year. If we're going to go to Dallas this year for the True Crime Festival podcast, I totally stumbled through that so bad, you guys. My God. But we'll definitely have to do something next year, too, so that we can get together, do some, and do like a recording together. Because that's the goal.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So, yeah. Well, I hope I creeped everyone out because it was fun looking into that.
I like
town,
how you
so.
make me so uncomfortable in my own house.
I'm sorry. You have a brand new house. You ain't got nothing to
I'm
be
so
uncomfortable about.
right now, just thinking like, what if I was in the shower and then like I just hear like child laughing? I know my daughter's asleep right now. Like that's just scary.
Is she asleep? Are you sure she's not just walking around her room playing?
Honestly, you never know with that girl.
That's
but-
what I'm saying. Well, guys, let us know what you think. Go to our Instagram at Weird Mythic Podcast. Go and visit Serena on Twitter at Weird Mythic. Send us an email at weirdmythicpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to download, like our show, do a comment on whatever platform you listen to us on.
The
It really helps
ratings.
out.
We need ratings badly.
Yes, we do.
I'm begging
Please.
again.
I'm begging again. There's only so much downloading I can do on all the platforms, guys.
I know.
Come on.
I swear half from us and people we know.
I don't care. Even if it's automatic download on probably like Christina's.
I know.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to Yolani. I know she automatically downloads my shit.
Hell yes. Thank you all for the support. Let us know what you think. We really love your guys'
that was fun.
feedback.
And next week is going to be, oh my gosh, we're going to be talking. Should we tell? Should we spoil?
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about white ladies. Just kidding. Ladies in white.
That's what she said like right before. She's like, yeah, next week we're going to talk about white ladies, right? And I was like, ladies in white, yeah.
We're talking about the Caucasian community.
This is going to be the worst episode ever. No, we will be discussing ladies in white. So I know we've mentioned them. I don't know how many times. It's about freaking time we dedicate a whole episode
it's going to be so
them.
good. I got two really, really, really good ones. So I'm excited.
All
All right, until next week. Bye.